The public space that you got no problem with them taking over a road. Look at that. They got no problem with them taking over a road, but me walking up and asking questions is the problem. How many times do you reckon you called me a Nazi today?
A Nazi? A Nazi? This Nazi?
No, we're having a good conversation. This is the most you'll get out of a lefty. Can you at least defend like half of what you're saying? You're actually scaring kids into the idea that there was going to be an extinction. And then when I ask any of you guys, they admit there's no extinction. So why are you scaring kids into killing themselves? I'd say you have a nice smile, but I'll be lying. I think you know it's one word, Nazi. You want to say Nazi one more time just for the camera?
A wokey climate activist calls a reporter a Nazi, but when confronted, all she can offer is a blank, awkward smile.
It's an adult human female.
Yeah.
And I just can't, it frustrates, and I do think about this a lot. I'm the only man in the house. I have a 8-year-old daughter and a wife.
Oh.
And I do think about this a lot, and I worry about my daughter's future when this just can't be discussed like grown-ups. I think I'm watching children whenever I see this being debated, especially, well, or not debated, as in the case of listening to people like Keir Starmer, who just obfuscates about everything. He can't answer the question. I think it's absolutely infuriating. Why can't they just state, and I don't want to directly have a poppy because I know what you're saying.
No, go on.
I do genuinely understand what you're saying. So you're saying that we should be respectful and kind. I don't think
that's
anybody,
not the point, Nate.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is saying that they're going to be, just because we're not, you know, a man cannot become a woman and a woman cannot become a man. But if a man wants to be called Tracy and dresses like a woman, I've got absolutely no problem with that. But they should not.
A wokey gets a reality check on the issue of trans women in women-only spaces.
And seek, and I encourage you to seek, to address that without embracing an ideology that will ultimately lead to self-destruction. There are studies, if you're talking about the suicide rates of people who undergo transitions, there are studies that show that if you undergo a surgical transition, there might be a year or so where the suicide rate goes down, but it returns to its previous rate several years post-surgery, in addition to you having the physical issues that come with these experimental surgeries, which are not just experimental, but they come with a lot of side effects. They don't work. If they weren't underpinned by a leftist ideology, they wouldn't be approved for use in the public because they would be acknowledged in the medical community that they do more harm than good. So if you're looking for help, there are so many people that are willing to help you. I encourage you to go to GenSpect. They're an amazing group that is willing to help people just...
A speaker educates a trans activist on gender surgeries and the alarming suicide rates among the trans community.
You can make up anything you want, and I've seen plenty of that in the past 8.5, 9 years. Good example, Foxconn. Go back and ask anybody in the state legislature how much money they've got thus far. Not a penny. They only get money based upon what they earn. Like any other economic entity in the state of Wisconsin, they have to earn tax credits. So you can say whatever you want, but the facts are the facts. They haven't earned any tax credits,
180 people's jobs so far.
which is why they don't.
13,000.
Which,
Cut that down to 1,500.
which is why they haven't got any tax credits yet. So
Took eminent domain. Still stole people's homes for this.
no, in the end.
Freedom.
And I didn't take any of that. The state didn't do any of that. Economic development projects in that area is one of the fastest growing corridors in the entire Midwest, one of the fastest growing in the country. And they don't get any tax credits, so they create jobs and make the capital investments that they claimed along the way. So that's just one of the many misstatements.
Watch as a woke SJW gets schooled by a governor on tax credits. And it's not the lesson she expected.
Because they choose to. They would rather go to their daughter's piano recital than stay all night at work working on a proposal.
What?
So they end up earning less. They're less ambitious. And I think this is sort of God's way. This is nature's way of saying women should be at home with the kids. They're happier there.
I hope that your viewers do not take you sir, seriously.
There's a great book you should read. It's called Why Men Earn More, and it's all about women choosing to put family over work, and that's why they earn less.
Having a choice does not mean that you're less ambitious, and your comments are absolutely deplorable. Sean, I would like
less ambitious in the workforce.
I would like you to address it. You're a father. You have a daughter.
If you were a real feminist, you would support housewives and see them as the heroes, and women who work wasting their time.
You said that women are less ambitious.
Women are less ambitious.
You have also said that women are better suited in the home.
Yes,
You've
that's
also
a fact.
said that, let's see, that women...
A man triggers a woke feminist by simply stating the facts on the gender pay gap.
Carrying the Chinese flag. Because I'm a Maoist. Why are you a Maoist? Like, why does this organization, this Occupy Wall Street, appeal to you?
It appeals to me because I got screwed over by the capitalist system myself. I lost my job last year because I wanted to transition from male to female with my gender identity.
But how did the capitalist system make you lose your job?
You have a boss that doesn't believe I'm a human being.
I don't. In China. How would they treat you in China if you tried to do that? If Maoism is so good.
If the party stayed true and didn't become revisionist, they would treat me like a human being.
So, like the Stalinists and those people that killed millions of people, so you support that policy?
You don't have the figures to back up. You know, they're made up. You've been reading the Black Book of Communism.
A reporter embarrasses a communist supporter with tough questions, leaving him to mention something about the Black Book of Communism as his fallback.
Women don't agree with you. Fewer than 1 in 5 women in America describes themselves as a feminist, even though over 85% of them believe in inequality between the sexes. Why? Because they know that feminism has become something different now. They know that the feminism you're talking about, it's very convenient, isn't it, to sort of treat men like shit, and then when people say, I'm not a feminist, say, oh, but feminism's out of quality. That's not what feminism has become. It's not what feminism is anymore. Feminism is a mean, vindictive, spiteful, nasty, man-hating philosophy.
So
that
why
has very
would you
little, well, let me finish, because I let you finish, okay? That has very little to do with the equality of the sexes, and a lot to do with man-hating. And the way that you know that is women are abandoning it in their millions. Women don't want feminism anymore. They have rejected your version completely. They don't agree with you. In the UK, the numbers are even worse. Just 7% of women in the UK describe themselves as feminist, despite the fact that 92% of women in the UK believe in equality of the sexes. It's very clear what's happening. They don't believe...
Milo Yiannopoulos owns a feminist in a debate, using stats and facts to dismantle her arguments on feminism.
Is a substantial improvement, and this is what workers have put forward. Fast food workers themselves courageously took their lives into their own hands, walked out of their jobs in a one-day strike in New York City, and demanded $15 an hour. And that is the first step, because the economy is not going to remain static. We have to fight for affordable housing. We have to fight for better services in terms of mass transit, education, healthcare, and that is why we have to also talk about taxing the super wealthy and big corporations.
Well, I mean, of course, one government policy leads to the next. If you raise the minimum wage, then it's going to raise the rents. When it raises the rents, you're going to have to build affordable housing. When you have to build affordable housing, you have to tax people to build the affordable housing. When you tax people to build the affordable housing, people move out of the city, and you have to raise taxes on the people who remain in the city, and this is how you hollow out the economy of a major metropolitan area in the United States.
Ben Shapiro schools a wokey SJW on how the economy really works, and it's not what she wanted to hear.
Well, he proposed an anti-trans ban for the military. That's pretty aggressive.
So do you believe trans people in the military? It's better for our country?
Yeah.
Well, so you are aware of the very high suicide rate among trans people. It's about 40%. It's like the highest among any other demographic. Isn't that kind of dangerous to put those kind of people around lots of, weapons and potentially very traumatic circumstances in war that could actually make that worse?
No. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Why?
The reason trans people are higher for suicide is because of things that Donald Trump is doing and that society is doing, and people who are wanting to kill them and fire them. No.
So do you feel like do you think America is like a very anti-trans country in general?
A wokey advocates for trans people in the military, but stumbles when asked about their high suicide rates and the risks involved.
Hate of all forms. Hate against...
Do you hate fascists?
Do I hate fascists? Do I hate fascists? I don't like it, but I don't think I hate anybody.
Would you want fascists to immigrate here? Like, if Nazi Germany had refugees, would you want Nazi people coming here?
No Nazis allowed here in the United States.
You have a discriminatory immigration policy.
Against Nazis?
Yes.
Well, I haven't thought of it that way, I guess.
So, I mean, everyone supports some sort of discrimination.
Watch as a Wokey is completely dismantled using his own arguments on immigration.
The people's house, take back the people's house, take back the people's house, take back the people.
No, I'm just standing here. I would love for Toronto police to come.
He's sexist as no,
I haven't said, go ahead, bring the police.
Just calm down.
Bring the police.
Just calm down.
Okay, go ahead.
Just to calm down. That's it.
I would love for the police to come. I would love for them to come.
Yeah, because you know that they're gonna support your white male ass.
He's not gonna make America great again. Niggas need to get the f*** I'm gonna fucking knock. I'm gonna
get them to go. No, we're not fighting. But he's being against women.
That's why my job is to against women.
You were. You told us that we were not beautiful, so get that one in.
A BLM activist flips out when a man calls the police on him, accusing him of being racist against women. That's a new one.
For increasing it perhaps to double what it is right now at 21%.
Of course, you're a Democrat. You want more money that isn't yours.
No, because when you say that, like, increasing this tax rate will stifle innovation, the entrepreneurs themselves disagree with you. Bill Gates himself called this idea quote-unquote nonsense.
Yeah, it's easy for Bill Gates. He's worth $120 billion, so he can, jet around the world complaining about climate change and trying to get people to take vaccines they don't need. It doesn't affect him, right? Microsoft is worth $3 trillion. They're too big to fail. This is very simple. All taxes ultimately do this. They forcibly take money away from an efficient part of our country and they transfer it to an inefficient, bloated, corrupt part of our country. The government, it's that simple. So it's not that we should have zero taxes, it's that you're calling for doubling, which is to take more money from a efficient part of the economy towards a bloated federal government that is already spending $6 trillion a year. The biggest.
Charlie Kirk schools a socialist Wokey demanding double taxes, and the response is pure gold.
I totally get it. If you want to destroy the country, Joe Biden's been a great president for you.
Okay, yeah. So you think he's been a very dynamic president?
Well, I think he's been unbelievably effective at accelerating America's demise.
And you're saying that the people who are accelerating America's demise are the Democrats.
Of
so
course.
It's been a big win for the Democratic
I mean,
Party,
for example, how many people are coming across the border every day?
I think it's around like 3,000?
10,000 a day.
10,000.
So it's triple what you thought.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is overseeing the largest invasion in American history, and you're cool with that.
So, no. I'm not cool with the border crisis, but I do think that the problem.
But he's doing nothing about it because he wants it.
One of the major issues with the border crisis, right, was the fact that the Republicans, in order to forestall Ukrainian funding, wouldn't pass the bill that
has nothing to do with bills. It's all executive authority. Joe Biden did 55 things that he reversed from Trump. Remain in Mexico, reversing the asylum policy, no more deportations, no more background testing.
Kirk also takes on a brainwashed Biden supporter and delivers a reality check.
Want to catch Wokey moments in 4K? Watch till the end, subscribe, like the video, and comment Wokies for a chance to win a brand new iPhone 16 or a cash prize. Also, don't forget to check out the next video on the end screen for more chances to win.
What a safe space is?
I mean, a place where you're not going to get hurt or ridiculed.
And so on a college campus, if there's people with like Halloween costumes that maybe make you feel uncomfortable, does that make it not safe anymore?
Yeah, that's not a safe place.
So that's violent. It's not safe at all to be just seeing those Halloween costumes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you saw like a white person wearing like a sombrero and that's not safe?
No, because that's ridicule. That's being made fun of. It's using that as a caricature.
And you're not joking, are you?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, times have really changed. I can't believe how insensitive these people are these days.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, wearing these costumes and trying to have fun on Halloween, I'm not sure where they think they can get that idea.
No clue.
You're still not joking, are you?
Still not joking.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just talking about.
A reporter pokes fun at a wokie who thinks wearing cultural attire for Halloween makes campuses unsafe.
For us to spit on that man who made all of it possible because he made some moral concessions in order to take the most ambitious voyage at that time in the history of man is so bizarrely ungrateful. It is so ignorant of historical and political realities as to be naive and sophomoric.
My question was, how can you justify calling him a hero? I agree.
I've just justified it. That's my explanation. I think that you're standing on the shoulders of giants and you think that you're flying, but you're not. We are dwarfs standing on the shoulders of that great man, and we spit down on him in our ingratitude.
Michael Knowles owns a lefty wokie who was busy slandering Christopher Columbus.
Is that true?
It's very true.
Like who?
Well, for example, you know Venezuela, right?
Heard of it.
A majority of the country is currently eating rats, while their politicians are drinking champagne on a daily basis.
But that's not the 1%.
The 1% of Venezuela.
I'm talking about America.
Well, I'm saying, if Bernie Sanders were president, right, and he wanted to bring the same ideas as for socialism into this country, do you think that we would benefit?
Yeah.
But I just told you Venezuela is eating rats.
But I just want people to have health care, honey. I don't want, like...
Well...
Same thing Hugo Chavez.
Oh my God.
When he was taken over in Venezuela.
A socialist wokie gets educated on socialism, but responds with a head-scratching rebuttal.
This person just came into the bar and said, hey, what are your pronouns? You kind of look like a they, them. And I hated that they were right.
New problem. Wokies still manage to get offended even when you get their pronouns right.
Hi, it's Luna, activist teacher here, and I'm seeing a lot of right-wingers saying that the beautiful woman in red shouldn't be competing because they have XY chromosomes. First of all, that's Russian disinformation. I've never seen a more feminine-looking woman in my life. These bigots also don't like that she failed a gender test and tested with high testosterone. And I don't care if she has the testosterone of a breeding stallion. She's still a woman.
A lunatic, calling herself Luna, claims she's unfazed by a boxer's testosterone levels, even if they're like a stallion's.
After we got transabled. Yeah, this one's really messed up. Physically healthy people who feel they should have been born disabled. A man in Great Britain cut off his arm because he felt like an amputee. A woman in North Carolina poured drain cleaner in her eyes because she felt blind. Transgender, transracial, transabled. Guess what's next? A grown man posting an ad on Craigslist wanting a nanny because he identifies as a baby. You can't make this stuff up. Ridiculous? Perhaps, but who's to say anymore if that's how he feels? If a man can be a woman because he feels like one, if a white person can be a black person because she feels like one, if a healthy person can mutilate herself because she feels disabled, if a grown man can be a baby because he feels infantile, where does this end? Can a child be an adult because she feels like a grown-up? Can a teenager buy alcohol because he identifies as over 21 years of age? Can a grown man attend kindergarten because he identifies as a 6-year-old girl? Can a child spend the day at doggy daycare instead of school because the child feels like a canine? If not, why not? If a kid can be trans because he feels like a girl, who are we to tell a child he must attend school or obey his parents or refuse him a beer when he orders one? You can't have it both ways.
In what might be the most bizarre moment, a new term, Transabled, emerges, where people believe they should be physically handicapped. For more wokie videos, click on the screen right now.